Hello and welcome to another weekly update. I hope you're doing well. Whatever it is you're doing, in the UK we're still very much in lockdown, so as you can see I really need a haircut, but hopefully not long now, a couple of weeks, and start to slowly unlock and do all the sort of normal things and I can get my haircut. And I don't know, it's surprising how much difference a good haircut makes. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a weight has been lifted in sort of not just the literal sense, but kind of I don't know. I feel more able to concentrate. It's so psychologically stupid, but yeah, I feel more able to concentrate. I feel more professional. I feel all sorts of things. It's it's really interesting. I will never take a good haircut for granted again. Anyway, let's talk about other things this week. Not a lot of information out this week, I don't think. Not a lot of news particularly. Microsoft have been busy quite literally keeping the lights on in some areas of their business. A couple of big outages this week. So, yeah, not great. It's interesting, though. I'm very much on the side of some of the things that Paul Thurrott has been saying on Windows Weekly. And elsewhere, really that, you can't, you got to compare it to what it was like with on-premise, because this stuff happened all the time on premises, and often it was a lot worse. It was just with cloud you feel so helpless, you can't do much about it, but that doesn't mean that it was better back when it was on premises. That's not the case at all. It was just as bad and probably a lot worse, and there's a lot more infrastructure in place now to protect data and to keep things running. And yes, occasionally it does go down, but actually nowhere near as much as you'd think, or, it's actually pretty good for what it is. So just kind of my thoughts. I'd kind of give them a break. This stuff's hard. And they're very open about when stuff does go wrong. They're very open about the root cause analysis, the RCAs, and they always come out and tell us all what went wrong and what they're doing about it as well, which I think is important. It shows that they want to learn as well and they want to make it better, and that's good. So this week I've been mostly concentrating on getting to a bit of a milestone with the Learn Azure Communication Services series of blog posts I've been doing. I said when I started out, I was going to do 15 and then take a break and then do some more later. And so that's kind of where I'm at too. I'm at 15. They're all here on learnacs.dev, and each one is a blog post, so you can also find them on my blog. Yeah, so I've done 15 days worth. Each of them has code. Let's just show you. Let's just pick the last one as an example. Each one has code in it, descriptions of what to do, how to get it up and running, what you should see, and then how you can test it, and then what the code is actually doing as well. So there's meant to sort of really walk you through the functionality of whatever it is that day we're talking about. There's so much in ACS that I haven't covered, so there will be more things to add to this. There will be extra days, but I'm just not going to do them daily. I said I'd do them daily for the first 15 days, but it's it takes a lot actually to do them daily. The reality is, of course, you don't do them daily. Each blog post takes an hour to 2 hours to produce, and so you just can't find the time to do it daily. So the reality is you kind of queue them up over the weekend and then try and get one or two done in the evenings in the week and stuff like that. So daily is too much of a challenge at the moment. So I will do them, but there will be more coming, just not on a daily schedule. So what that means for you, it's kind of good. It means you've got 15 days worth of blog posts to go through to really get up to speed with the basics around ACS, specifically really on voice over IP calling, interop with Teams, and some chat stuff. It gives you a really good kind of running start. And then over time, you'll always be able to come back to that learnacs.dev page and pick up more kind of days, if you like, as they become available. So that's the plan. So that's taken up most of kind of what I've been doing in terms of looking at new things and blogging and stuff. The majority has kind of been taken up there. Have been a couple of other things. Like it's worked out quite well for me actually, in that this has also been quite a quiet week, I think, for announcements. So it's been quite good that I've been able to concentrate on this ACS stuff. So that's good. There have been a couple of things. This is one I wanted to talk about a little bit. Kind of blog post out a few days ago, talking about the new version of the SharePoint framework and how it's kind of going to do more with Microsoft Teams. And I think this is interesting on a couple of different levels. The first one really is that SharePoint development, SPFX, is not dead at all, continues to evolve, continues to add new features. And what they're really doing is reacting to the popularity of how people are using Microsoft Teams, but they're doing it from the SPFX side, from the SharePoint side, to enable kind of that great legion of SharePoint developers and all that investment and expertise in SharePoint development, enabling those to be leveraged, which I think is really cool. A couple of changes that are on the key capabilities, if you like, are on the screen. This is cool. There's a lot of new support added as well for things like some updated React packages, TypeScript's been updated, and Office, the UI fabric, has been updated as well. So that's all good. This Sync to Teams button is interesting, I think, that will show up in the Tenant app catalog. It's going to use the Teams app manifest if you define one in the solution, so that's good, and or it'll dynamically generate one if not. So that means you get to customize it if you want to. And then also, this is a really important section actually, future plans. Again, kind of driving home that what I already said, that this is not dead. There's going to be integration or extensibility for the Viva connections, which is kind of interesting. So this team is really kind of at the cutting edge, really pushing forward with extensibility options here, really making sure that the SharePoint framework stays relevant and stays useful. So that's really good, I think, to see. So, yep, I like that. So I guess kind of go here, look at this. If this is of interest to you, if you're a SPFX person, you'll find this really useful, I think, and kind of exciting. I'm kind of excited by this. I think it's good to see that this is happening because it shows that kind of on the inside, if you like, at Microsoft, the SharePoint framework is still important and is still being worked on. In terms of developer kind of techie news, in terms of what's changed, things that might impact your life in your day-to-day development in terms of APIs and calls and functionality and techniques and stuff, I think that's pretty much it. There are some other things I wanted to touch on actually that are not specifically to do with the development side. They're kind of tangential. They affect us. We should talk through them. So first one is from Mary Jo Foley and kind of an announcement, if you like, from a rumor that she had confirmed. Microsoft creating a new org in a kind of an org shakeup. This is the Digital Transformation Platform Group. Let me just share Mary Jo's post. So this is the Digital Transformation Platform Group org. It's important because it covers Dynamics 365 Power Platform, the Azure AI platform and the Azure Data platform and Azure IoT platform. I don't know whether this covers Azure Communication Services. I kind of feel like it might do, but I'm not totally sure. So this is kind of going to affect you if you do anything around AI, if you do anything around Power Platform. And I say affect you, obviously it's not going to affect your day-to-day, but this is a new organization with a new leader. It's going to have a slightly different, maybe, sense of direction. So you might see changes come out of that. So one to keep an eye on. The person's name to two people's names really to keep an eye on are James Phillips and Andrew Wilson. They are the kind of two execs who report through to Scott Guthrie. Jason Zander is still around. He's heading up Azure's core infrastructure. A couple of other changes. Azure Platform as a Service tooling is moving to Julia Lewison, and some other kind of movements and kind of changes. Obviously, fundamentally on the ground, it doesn't change anything day to day, but it might change direction. You might see a shift in direction maybe if there are plans for these various things. So that's a kind of a new org name to look out for, this Digital Transformation Platform Group. So good. Finally, this is kind of amazing actually. This is to do with the complete change of topic again. We're definitely seeing now more conferences, industry conferences, who are trying to plan what they're doing this year and trying to plan speaking and fix dates and find speakers and find places that will have them and figuring out what the capacity looks like and whether or not they can make in-person work. And so there's lots of things happening, but slowly conferences are ramping up again for this year, slightly tentatively, because, like I say, people are unsure whether to go online or whether to try and hold out for an in-person type event. And either way, it's going to be busy time, I think, for speakers, and a great opportunity actually for first-time speakers. And I would really encourage anyone who is thinking about speaking at a conference, please submit sessions. Just if you don't submit, you can't get picked. If you can't get picked, you can't do your first speaking session. So you've got to start by submitting. You don't have anything to lose. Don't do what I sometimes did and oversubmit, because you might find you are surprised by the number of people that say yes, and then you have a lot of work to do. So, but yeah, do just submit a title and an abstract for something that you're passionate about and you're interested in to a conference and see what happens. Anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about this, which is the PowerPoint presenter coach. Now, this has been around for a little while. It's like a plugin for PowerPoint that can help you give a better presentation by coaching you on things that you could do better. I think it's a really cool idea. And this blog post is to tell you that there are now new things available. So first of all, it's available on all platforms. So it's now it's on the web, it's on Windows, it's on iOS, it's on Mac and Android. That is available everywhere. That's really good actually, because a lot of people, if you are speaking at an event, you travel. So actually there is that time, the couple of days or the night before the presentation, when you want to run through the presentation. I often do this. Often I run through the presentation the day or the afternoon before, not the night before, because then you don't sleep. Do it the afternoon before and then take the evening off. But I kind of run through, dry run, 2 times. So if it's a 45-minute presentation, I will take 45 minutes in the afternoon to run through end to end. And I've started using the presenter coach to help me pick up on things I could do better. Anyway, because I'm often traveling, it means I've got a variety of odd devices with me. So actually having this on every platform is a really good idea. What's also interesting as well, there are new kind of critiques, which I think is really interesting. So body language is really interesting. That kind of like catching on, picking up on your body language as you present. Really important key actually, whether or not you are maintaining eye contact, or whether you're looking around all the time, or whether you are engaged and your eyes on to your audience. The distance, the clear view, all this kind of stuff is really important, and it's really good to see that stuff is being picked up and prompted as part of a kind of coaching presentation or presentation coaching. Repetitive language, again, really important. So pulling out both repetitive language, but as well as the other things that the presentation coach already picks up on, like the pace and sensitive phrasing and things like that. And then another new thing, which I think is kind of amazing as well, is pronunciation. So picking up where you might pronounce a word wrong. So this might be, I do this often. I see other people doing this as well. It's, you see a word in print, but you're not entirely sure how you pronounce it because you've never heard it spoken before. So getting a sense on how words should be pronounced, or picking up on words that you may just not have realised you are not pronouncing correctly, and either nobody has told you because they haven't heard you say those words, or they're just being polite and they don't want to hurt your feelings, or whatever else it is. This is really good that this kind of rehearsal report is going to pull this out as well. So I think this is great. I would encourage you to go and use it if you are speaking, especially if you're doing a first-time presentation. Do this because it will give you the confidence as well. You'll do this a couple of times and then you'll start nailing. You'll get green ticks across the board and you'll be like, yeah, I can do this because look, when I did the first one, I was kind of amber and like a bit all over the place, but now I do it and every time I get green ticks across the board. So it's a confidence boost as well as genuinely making you better. So go check out the presenter coach today. I'll put a link to this web page and all the web pages that I've just talked through. I'll put them in the show notes so you can reference them. And as like every single time, you can follow me on Twitter throughout the week for any big updates that happen and any blog posts I put out. you should check out my YouTube channel as well. I do videos. Do videos throughout the week as well, not always just the weekly update videos. If you look, I'll do the weekly update videos obviously on a cadence every Friday, Saturday or Sunday, but I will also do other videos throughout the week as and when information breaks or I've put together enough content to make a video worthwhile and I think it would be worthy of your time. I don't talk about this a lot. There's also a email newsletter I do, so that might be interesting. And if you're watching this on YouTube and thinking that's great, but actually I could listen to this and just get on with something else, totally fair point. But there's a podcast as well, so go check that out. If it's easier to kind of get it on the podcast, you can do that rather than having to listen to it through YouTube. So all of those things available to you, all of which means if you do any of those things, then I will talk to you again next week, which would be lovely. In the meantime, have a great week, whatever it is you're doing. Have a lovely weekend, and I will speak to you again next time.